90. Burnout car was found south of Tijuana, Mexico. In the trunk, police discovered the charred remains of a human body. They traced the car to San Diego and identified the victim as 39-year-old Maria Hanbury. Evidence technician Gary Dorsett and Detective Carl Smith of the San Diego Police Department were assigned to the case.
Is it humanly possible for you to be any more disgusting?
Maria Hanbury was a local businesswoman, mother of 5. Smith and Dorsett needed to prove that Maria had been murdered in California and her body dumped in Mexico. If they couldn't, the case would remain under Mexican jurisdiction, more than likely remain unsolved.
My first impression was that the crime scene had tried to be cleaned up, and the job was not very well done. There were certain areas that were missed.
Fingerprint. Looks like we've got ourselves a point of entry.
While we were photographing the scene, I noticed quite a few droplets of what appeared to be blood in different areas of the house.
Blood spatter.
The spatter pattern will tell you the direction the person was flailing his arm or possibly moving very quickly through an area.
Looks like we have a few hair fibers and some blood here. Someone really struggled to get this sucker open.
Evidence of a fierce struggle was found throughout the house, from the master bath to the kitchen. Police questioned family members who had seen Gonzalo Herrera, the ex-boyfriend of Maria's daughter, in the house that day.
We've got 2 different people on record saying you told them different stories.
Maria had recently fired Herrera. Her daughter had just ended her relationship with him and thrown him out of the house. Herrera denied having anything to do with Maria's murder. He even volunteered to submit hair and blood samples.
Maria wouldn't give you what you wanted.
Because he did not admit any involvement in the death of Maria Hanbury, and we at that point had not obtained enough or found enough evidence to charge him with her death, we had to release him.
Technicians took 110 blood samples from Maria's home. To prove it was the scene of the murder, one of those samples had to match Maria's blood. In the meantime, Gary Dorsett went to work with the chemical compound luminol to locate more blood. Luminol reacts to the iron in blood, glowing bright blue when it detects the slightest trace.
This reaction was very strong, indicating to me that there's a very good possibility that there had been blood and it had been cleaned up. The suspect had injured himself when he was stabbing the victim. There may have been a large amount of blood from the victim. While the suspect was trying to clean this blood up, he was throwing blood from his hands that were injured onto different surfaces of the walls or floors. While he was cleaning up the victim's blood, he was losing his blood.
Go ahead, Carl, hit the lights.
Their final step was to luminol the mop and bucket in the garage, where Maria's car was last parked. Back at the lab, the serologists processed the blood samples as quickly as possible. Amazingly, they kept matching Herrera's blood type. Until at least one sample matched Maria's, police could not prove that she was murdered in the United States.
I've looked at 70 samples already, and I'm still looking at more. Keep in mind, I'm here for you.
Carl, you're just doing the best you can. Come on. It's my first homicide, and I'm gonna lose it.
Sample 90 is a perfect match.
Gotcha.
He did a pretty good job of concealing what happened and where it happened. We just did a little better job at finding some things he didn't realize he missed, and we were able to put together a murder case. It wasn't until several days after we released Gonzalo Herrera during that initial interview that we were able to find Maria Hanbury's blood in the upstairs bedroom of that home. By that time, Gonzalo Herrera was nowhere to be found.
In that initial interview, Herrera agreed to have these mug shots taken. It was just 2 days after the murder, and police believe those scratch marks were left by Maria Hanbury as she fought desperately for her life. Herrera's only 5'3", but he weighs in at 160 pounds and often wears sweatpants to disguise his short, stocky legs. He's a Mexican national with a green card. He has trouble holding down a job. Here's Herrera while he was living in Maria's house. He's quiet and withdrawn. Friends say they had no idea he was capable of such violence. Police say the attack was so vicious, Herrera wounded himself. He has knife scars on his right fingers and his left thigh. And there's a small cross tattooed on the web of his left hand. You've seen Gonzalo Herrera. Call 1-800-CRIME-92. When we return, you put police hot on the trail of a mad stalker. Now they need your help to stop him in his tracks.